25. The guide is 25, special for lab at 1990. Guide 25 at 1990. It is contain 17 requirements. So when ISO issue the first version 1999, the name is ISO 17025. 17, it's mean number of the first requirement, and 25, it's mean guide 25. Okay, now every ISO start with 17, it's mean this is special for laboratory, no anything else. Okay, what about IEC? ISO/IEC 17025. ISO, it's mean word, as we say. What about IEC? IEC is shortcut for International Electrotechnical Commissions. This is Electrotechnical Commission in America, consider with product of electrotechnical like circuit breaker, like K of electrical K, like any electrical equipment. The first laboratory which cooperate and apply and make assessment for ISO requirement inside his lab is IEC requirement. So it was a trademark for ISO of lab. So when we speak about ISO for lab, it's ISO/IEC 17025. It's mean ISO requirement for laboratory. Whatever this laboratory, biological, chemical, physical, electrical lab, any lab, but not clinical laboratory or medical laboratory. In 2003, clinical lab and medical lab separated in another ISO requirement, another ISO issue, and 17025 become for only physical, chemical, biological, electrical, and so on. Mechanical, corrosion lab, any lab. Any lab, and the definition of lab, it is a place which make analysis inside it. Whatever this analysis, physical analysis, chemical analysis, biological analysis. ISO 17025 and ISO 9001. ISO 9001 is management requirement and it is certificate. But ISO 17025 is accreditation. This is the big difference between certificate and accreditation. When you ask for ISO for your lab 17025, it doesn't mean you have to take certificate. Why? Because it is not certificate, it is accreditation. What is the difference? Certificate is compliance with requirement, but accreditation is competence. Competence, it's mean I have to check the lab, I have to check performance of personnel, I have to check your equipment, I have to check your result, I have to check your uncertainty. So it is not certificate, it is accreditation. It's more stronger than certificate. So accreditation is more stronger than certificate. But requirement of ISO 9001 is already included inside ISO 17, just for clarification. So ISO 9001 for quality management system apply to all organization, can be applied to lab only, warehouse only, the main of company, included lab, included warehouse, included everywhere. This is management system only, no any technical requirement inside 9001. The first guide of ISO is at 1990 is guide 25. It's upgrade to be separated ISO standard in 1999 to be ISO/IEC 17025. We know the meaning of this name. ISO is mean equal. IEC, electrotechnical conventions. 17, the first guide of 25 was 17 requirement, and 25 come from guide 25. Okay? Any standard start with 17, it's mean especially for lab. In 2003, there is separation in Sydney for standard of clinical and medical laboratory in 15189 to be for medical lab or clinical lab only, and separated from 17025 to be have requirement of safety. When you want to apply for ISO, you have to apply in ISO organization, but ISO organization can't cover all the world. So it gives permission for other organizations everywhere to give this accreditation. But how ISO gave permission for any accreditation for any organization? By another certificate, we call it 17011. 17011 is certificate special for accreditation body. When you have to apply for ISO to any organization to accredit you in ISO, you have to apply with organization already have 17011 certificate to be approved from ISO organization in Vienna. When you have to make internal auditing or external auditing, there is guide, not certificate, not accreditation, but just guideline. Guideline is, we call it ISO 19011. It is guideline for auditing only. When we have to make internal audit, external audit, you have to use this guideline to help you in internal auditing and external auditing. In ISO requirement for laboratory, technical requirement, you have to apply or participants in proficiency test. Do you know proficiency test? Everyone know meaning of proficiency test? It is inter-comparison between the laboratory by sample, representative sample, distribute to all lab and give analysis in the same condition at the same equipment to make inter-comparison between them, and then give result to lab who is in control, who is out of control. We call it proficiency test. One of requirements of ISO 17025 is chair proficiency test program. Proficiency test program with international organization. But international organization, this is who provides this PT test, must have certificate from ISO organization, the main organization in Vienna. This ISO, we call it 17043. 17043 is for proficiency test. If your lab, if you are in Aramco, SABIC, in any lab, and you have to be a PT provider, it's okay. Prepare your sample and distribute the samples, split the sample and distribute all around the world. But before you start, you have to take approved from ISO organization. This approved is certificate 17043. So your lab, when you go to make accreditation for yourself for ISO 17025, you have to participate in ISO in proficiency test, international proficiency test. But you have to participant in proficiency test provide from any organization around the world has 17043 certificate. Okay. In our requirement, we need calibration. We need calibration for